Hey everybody, today's episode of PincheAls Garage, we're going to rebuild in a 1.8T head. I'm PincheAl, and there's Ray Ray, and this is PincheAls Garage. Okay, so in preparation for your head to be assembled, once you get it back from the machine shop, first things you're going to need is some high performance assembly lube. I'm using Lucas. There's other brands like Redline. I think STP makes one. Do you know of another brand, Ray?
No, I always use Lucas.
Okay, so there we go. So once you get your lube all up and going, what you want to do, you want to lube up all the, right here, the little journals, I guess is what we call them. Where the cam is actually going to sit on. So you literally just pour a drop and then just rub it in with your finger. And the reason why you want this is to prevent a dry start, which is like everybody's worst nightmare on an engine, because a dry start can ruin a lot of components. So you want as much lubrication as possible for the very first time the engine's going to start. So repeat the process pretty much through every single spot on the where the cam sits. The next thing we're going to show you is the lifters, which are going to be the ones we're going to be dropping in. Those got to be pre-lubed and then seated on top.
It's mainly for pre-lubrication until oil pressure builds up. You don't want anything metal to metal rubbing until the oil pressure builds up.
Yep, because that's no bueno.
Lubricating the ends of the valves.
Just a little lube on the tip.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
That's all you need.
So one thing that we did prior with the 16mm socket, we took the cam gear off. This is the exhaust side, so you want to take that off to get the cam actually mounted. And that way you can take the old seal off as well. Every cam gear has a notch. Where is it? Here it is. There's a notch right here on the side, the back. The exhaust one is actually tilted about half a link over to the right. There's a notch on the inside too. And that notch, where the chain link sits, it's going to be 16 rollers all the way to the next cam gear. I'll post up a picture of the actual instructions and how that looks, so you guys can see that. Always recommend pre-lube the lobes as well before you actually mount these on. Even though we lubed up already the rollers here, we also got to pre-lube these before you install them. But the next thing we need to do is the lifters. And it's these little guys right here. We got 4 brand new ones, and those are for the center intake valve. Those are the most common ones that actually get little divots on the actual lifter. Due to if you have a bad timing belt where it snaps and you bend a valve. This is how you're going to get some fix a lot of the premature problems if you don't do that. So lube these up inside, out, on top, and then put in the middle, just right there for the 4. And then repeat the process for the rest of the lifters for the exhaust and the intake side. So the next thing we're going to do, we're putting in the exhaust lifters in. Lube them with the assembly lube. You show off Ray's magic hands right here. Oh yeah. And just lube them all around the ring, a little bit on the inside, a little bit on the top. You know, all around, shake it all about, and do the hokey pokey, and then that's pretty much what's all.
Number 2 that goes right there, right? Is that where you want it?
That's number
2.
Yeah, number 2 right there. And then we have our exhaust lifters. I marked them, you labeled them, you see that, cylinder number 3, and we do everything from left to right, and you're looking at the engine. This is actually the top of the head, and this is actually the front side, this is the back side. So cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's how everything's labeled. That way you guys don't mix up or put valves in the wrong spot. And don't be going to mess up things, you know. Give your guys a bigger headache. I use the magnet. I'll do cylinder number 1. And then you'll see on top of the bag being labeled, I also labeled 1 and 2, meaning exhaust valve 1, exhaust valve 2. That way you guys have put them back exactly the way you took them out. That way there's no confusion on messing things up. By the way, Tim and his son Josh are here.
We have an audience today.
Yeah, we got a cool little audience because apparently
Yay!
they went on hiking today and now they're tired. Well, Tim did. His son stayed home. Oh, Josh went too?
Nice.
Nice.
This timing.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you hike. Or actually, no, that's what happens when you work out.
Yeah.
Working out your thumbs is not an actual exercise. Even though I got some pretty sexy thumbs. I got some like 6-packs on them already.
Yeah.
And so this is now completely put together exhaust side. Now we're going to do the intake side. We got 4 new lifters for the center intake valve. The reason for it's the most commonly one that gets the most, I guess,
The most wear.
most wear out of all the valves on the intake side. So let's get those going. Right there. Your cylinder number 4.
Well, these 4 out. Why don't we just throw those in there real quick and do that?
Well, I'm gonna see if I remember labeling these. Yeah. So I label these 1, 2, and 3. So valve number 2 on each cylinder is the one that you're not gonna reuse. Make sure you put new lifters, okay? Okay. So here's a good example of why you have to replace the center valve. If you guys can see that, I'm going to just move it back and forth, but you'll see there's a divot right there, and you can feel that across. Guys got to replace that. That's a big no-no. That'll pretty much cause premature failure. Big no-no.
I'm gonna try something real quick.
Alright, cool. Well, there you go. So see, that's where the little divot's at, and that's where the cam is actually pushed down on it so hard.
Cam lube
The
is
cam,
hitting hard.
yeah, and damage the lifter. So we got 4 new lifters. You see, not shiny. They actually got scuff marks on them. So these are the replacements. So Ray's going to be working on cylinder number 3 and 4. I will be working on cylinder number 2 and 1 for the assembly right here for the lifters going in. And then we're just tossing out lifter number 2 and only using lifter number 1 and 3. While you take them out, just double check them. Make sure there's no crazy wear in them. If not, you're good. Every lifter is wears specific per valve, so be careful not to mix and match them because you can mess up some stuff. Things wear in a very specific manner. Unless you had the head completely machined inside and out, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But we didn't do that. We're doing an actual rebuild. So we have to reuse a lot of stuff. magnet. I don't like that.
Hold it down with your finger.
No, it's like it's going in like hard. This one's like going in not very smooth. There we go. Much better. So you raise like a race car, he's almost done. It's not his first rodeo. It's my first rodeo here. Also, we saw Logan last night.
Was it good?
Talk about a fucking emotional roller coaster. Have you seen it? It's so depressing, man. It's all happy and then depressing and it's like all angry and then you're happy again and then you're really depressed afterwards. It's good. I'll tell you that. It's really good.
Want a hammer?
No.
Air hammer?
Alright.
It's in. It's lubed.
It'll work fine. There's a crack in it. It's extra oily. You know, it's an oil crack.
It's precision cracked.
Precision crack. You heard about that? The rods are
Really, I mean, have you heard about it? The rods?
Hmm?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to go back on the exact way they come off.
No, they can. They only can.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Ray were tripping like, dude, these things are fucking broken.
No, that's how they do them.
Yeah. Me and Ray were just tripping on
Cracked
that.
rods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking, oh, I got brand new cracked rods. That just sounds wrong.
Cracked rods for sale.
Yeah. No, but we can't just sound cracked rods. Get precision cracked rods. Gotta sound professional. You know, I can't just say cracked rods. So, all the valves are done. And like I was just saying, make sure you get a lot of lube on there. Because you don't want to have a dry start. Worst thing in the world. Because you can spend all that money and then you're back at it's pretty much square one. And these are junk, so we don't need them. So the next thing is the cam. Nothing fancy. Just lube up the cam, the lobes. Since the actual cam lower caps are already lubed, we don't need to spend any time doing that. One thing that you always want to do when you're rebuilding a motor too, your first oil change or your first oil, you want to use zinc additive or use zinc oil. The reason why you don't want even though you're putting new oil in it, you can still have a dry start. And what will happen is that the lobes here can get flat lobes because you're touching too much metal on metal. So this goes on here.
You sure about that?
No. Yeah, here's the...
There you go.
There. And then you're going to find the notch. So, once it sits where it's supposed to sit, you'll see there's a notch there. That's your notch. And from this to the left of the notch, one chain link goes here. Once you put the other cam on here, you're going to have that notch straight up. That one's can't be sitting sideways. That one has to be straight up, and it's going to have a roller from there. From that spot over, it's going to be 16 rollers in total from the inside of the actual chain portion. So we'll show you that in just a second. Okay. So explain this, Ray. So while I'm holding this.
You go ahead and explain it. You're better at it than I am.
Damn it. So let's see if I can show you guys this. Okay, well, put your fingers where they're supposed to go. So right there, there's a notch right underneath that,
Angle it this way.
right there. Where that link is, that's number 1. If you go to the right, that's number 16. There's a notch there as well. In between that is 14 no, in total is 16. 14 in between that, 16 in total rollers. So you need 2 people to do this, so it makes it easier. And then you got to pre-install the tensioner as well. And you guys gotta go down a little bit more, just like that. And then you slide this over.
I'm gonna go back more.
There we go.
Here we go.
And now, before you do anything else, you're gonna count everything that you've actually done, because you got the catch is it's 16 in total. So here's the chain, and here's the roller. I mean, here's the notch, and here's the roller. It's offset to the left a little bit. So you have to remember that. I'll post up the diagram from the Bentley manual so you guys can see that. So from here, that's number 1. You don't count that as 0, you count that as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now this notch is directly underneath the roller. So if you have that correct, you got the chain, the cams pretty much timed correctly. That's where it's supposed to be. If they're off anywhere from one link, one roller over, your valves are not going to open, and you can end up floating a valve or bending a valve, which
You're
is
gonna have a
not
bad day
good.
when you put it back together.
Yep, because that means you got to take it all back apart and do it over again. The good thing though, you can take the, you can do all this and remove it without taking the head off. Once you actually put the 2 together, the head and the block, we can actually show you guys it being timed correctly. If everything's timed 100%, then you're good. You can start the motor up after that. So for the next step here is the half moon seal and the tensioner gasket. If you got a head gasket kit that comes complete from Victor Rines, it's going to give you these 2 seals that are super important.
Does that go on the inside like that one? 'Cause that doesn't make sense.
It sits flat
Okay, right there,
yeah.
right.
And you move your hand so I can see it right there. There you go. So you see the gasket. I'm in the little rubber gasket. We call this the half moon seal. There's a little bit of RTV you got to put on the top of it, where his finger's at. This will prevent it from leaking a lot. And then the other metal gasket sits right on top of that, and it lines up pretty much with its has little metal things that line it up, and that's it. You can see right here where Ray's dabbing some gray RTV. That's where you guys got to put it for the half moon seal. This just allows for just a better seal when we're putting the new gaskets in. And then slide down that little gasket there.
It'll be good. It'll come down. The moon is holding it up. So.
Okay. Let me hold it down on this side. There, here you go. I got it here.
There it goes.
So your cam caps, you gotta clean them off before you put some new assembly lube on them. They go back on the exact same way you took them off. These go on very, very, very specific, like in a very particular manner, because they wear very specific for every cam spot. So make sure when you guys put these on, they go on in their actual home here. And you'll notice it's not going to sit all the way down because the valves aren't pushed down yet. So clean every one off. Same with your bolts. Clean all your bolts off. Thread them in by hand. And these don't go on tight to begin with. Every cap is 7 foot-pounds for the torque spec. And you want to go opposite, so left, right, and then middle, because you want to make sure all the tension goes down even and straight. You don't want to cause anything to go sideways. Should we lube the inside of this, or since we
No,
already put it
that's
on?
already done.
Okay.
They're ready to go on.
You're looking at
The order that they're in, is that correct?
they were all backwards. They were there correctly that way.
Okay,
so
then I brought them over the same way. So,
yeah, so they
okay.
should be in the correct order.
All right, just making sure. I just didn't make sense that that this is the trans side, but it's
Yeah, because if you see the order, this goes here. That one goes here.
okay. All right, just make sure.
Yeah, I'm all like, yeah, I took them off the same way. That's a weird one. So with all your cam caps put on, make sure, like I said, you hand tighten them all. Don't torque them down yet. And always try to tighten them. When you actually start torquing them down, you want to do right, left, and then middle, just like that, and then torque them down, and then double check them going from in the opposite direction. That way, you know one side doesn't put too much pressure than the other. It's just even torque sequence. And the Bentley manual doesn't specify to do that because you don't really have to. But for me, it's just peace of mind. You know, that's how I do all my gaskets and everything. So, what about you, Tim? What advice do you give people?
Do it right.
Get a Bentley.
Buy a Honda.
Buy a Honda. Yeah. If you really want to do it right, buy a Honda. Because you literally can just put it all in there and it'll work. Don't even time it. It'll magically fix.
Auto timing.
Yeah. That VTech, yo.
LOL.
So once you have all the caps on, like I said before, just torque them down to spec. Do not remove the tensioner until everything's all the way down. Once everything's down and torqued to spec, then remove the actual chain tensioner tool. Take that out, and then you're done. The cams are installed, and then the next step we'll show you is put the seals on, the cam seals that go on here, and then this last cam cap right here. You'll see here there's like a line where the gasket you gotta make for it. Super light coat. You don't have to put a heavy coat on here. This is just a gasket you need to make a seal for the front of the cams here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to make all the snug, pretty much as per Tim says, snug all the caps. Just nice and tight, nothing too spec. But you got to do them in order. So either go left to right or right to left.
In order and evenly.
And evenly, yep. So you do not want to create any issues with binding or a high spot and a low spot. Once you feel it hit the bottom, leave it alone and work over here on the next side. Here you go.
The bottom, she was too late.
And just go to the next one. That's faster this way. Once you get the two outer caps down, all the other ones will go down a lot easier because now you can put the caps all the way down pretty much by hand. And then Ray's doing the last one, which is the center cap. And remember, we do in first and then you work your way out. But on this part, we're not actually going to do that until we actually torque it down to spec. Once it's torqued down, you torque it in, you torque it back out just to verify that everything's to spec. And remember, they're 7 foot-pounds. So now we're going to torque it down. And you got to start. Will this one count as one? No, huh? Because
No.
it's by itself.
No, but
So this is still 7 foot-pounds too. So the tensioner is also 7 foot-pounds, but that doesn't have to be tension in sequence with this. So you can exclude that. Oh, that has to be actually part of the sequence, isn't it?
no,
That cap?
no, it won't make a difference because we have
No,
one.
'cause that's just for the seal.
That's for the seal. Okay.
Yeah.
Then exclude the cap at the end and exclude the tensioner. We're talking just about the caps inside the actual head itself. So, depending on how you guys want to work on it, you can work from left to right, but remember opposite. So one here, this way, this way, this way, and then the last one in the middle. Once you're done, you work your way back to double check your spec from here. Then you can go left, right, or no, right, left, out, and then you're done. That's your torque sequence. Set your torque wrench to 7 foot-pounds. I'm literally just feel for it because it's not very tight.
You might want to check that because
Yeah. That is it. Kind of back it out. Let's use yours really quick. I don't think the spring has that much tension on it. Not anymore. I've had this for like 5 years. You're 40%. Lovable. Ah.
This,
That's shirt material. What is the Jazzle one?
on my car.
That's why I picked it out, because it reminded me of your car. So I don't know how to cut it yet, so I'm gonna learn how to cut that soon.
Okay, cool. You have a project on it yet?
Your car. I don't know, whatever you want me to do with it. It's 1 yard, so I can mess around with a pretty decent amount of stuff. We can do a DCI logo in it.
Shirt material, right?
Hmm. It's just super thick. As you grab it, you can see how
I
thick
already
it
felt
is.
it.
It's really thick.
Super glittery.
Super glittery. So glittery.
Yeah, I wanna.
You want a shirt with that, huh?
Yeah.
We should make a shirt that says Timmy's bitch.
A shirt and a tank top.
I got a tank top.
I gotta give me a brand new shirt and a tank top.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I'll get one and I'll just have it say Timmy's bitch. Then we'll make one for Toasty and says, you know, remember that shirt? He likes it in the butt. Or I give it to him or
I
whatever.
still have that shirt.
Yeah, I should make that though with your.
Finger pointing next
Yeah.
to it. You like to see it in the butt. Yeah.
So we're starting from the left to right sequence for torquing the head down, or the caps specs.
I already did this one.
So he's already gone to left to right, now he's back to the left one. And you can see he's also doing the alternate bolts as well. He's going, you know, opposites from each other. Kind of like when you do your wheel and you do it in a star pattern. I hope to God you guys put your wheels on a star pattern. For you guys who don't, put your wheels on a star pattern.
Put your wheels on in a star pattern.
Yeah. Jeez.
I must say, if you don't put your wheels on a star pattern, you shouldn't be doing this.
I can agree with you 100% on that too.
Okay.
And now he's double checking it. Because you have to double check it. I don't care who you are. You ain't Merlin, that's for sure. You only got magic.
Yeah.
What do you know about Magic the Gathering? Tim, is there something about your secret life we don't know nothing about yet?
I don't play that shit.
Uh-huh.
In public.
In public.
In public.
Tim is a huge nerd outside of his Volkswagen routine. He's a hidden nerd. Nerd in disguise. NID.
Yes. I like
Alright, so Ray got the intake done. I'm going to do the exhaust side.
Crackle. No problem.
Click. You have to go back in there. Pretty important. There we go. So now I finished them and I double check these. Now I'm just going to go back in reverse. And that, everybody, is how you install cam caps. Booyah! As per the Bentley manual, it says to lightly coat the double bearing cap, which is this one. And you want to double coat, not double coat, but lightly coat the machine surface with RTV. You don't want a heavy, it just says super light coat, and that's it. So this goes on like this. Same torque spec, 7 foot-pounds. I tried to get Aussie to come over. Didn't happen.
Never happens.
Sad. I miss him. Alright, so the next part of the head assembly is actually here with the cam seals. You'll see right here. Now these seals came with our head gasket kit, and it's really cool. They come pre-loaded on these little cups, so all you do, you literally just put them on here and then you just tap them in. The really cool reason why this is super cool, because there's a rubber film or seal in the inside, and whenever you guys get these seals, they don't come with that, with this little cup. And what happens with that is that when you put the seal on, they tend to fold in and then ruins the whole entire install, because then you have to take it back out and make sure it goes in 100% flat. So we're going to do the right side first. So that goes in like that. So all you're going to do is wait until it gets to the bottom. Once you have it all around, we're going to start tapping it in. Use your rubber mallet Ta-da! And let's see. I'm going to use my extension here. Really easy. Just because it has a nice blunt end. You're just going to tap it. Kind of in a circle.
That's ready.
And the reason why you want to do this so it goes even. All the way in. Hit a little harder. Just don't hit too hard, because you don't want to damage anything.
Hey, stop shooting. It's serious.
Make sure we're good. Seal's going in nicely.
Yeah, great.
Just keep going till it gets flat. You'll know when it'll change its sound once it's flat. Yeah, see, you hear that? Now we're actually hitting the bottom. That's a nice cam seal install. So now that comes right out. And with a little bit of lube on there, helps it slide out a lot easier. So, and what you do, I was saying, double check everything. Use a smaller bit. Start nicking the aluminum here. You'll see that that's installed nice and flat, and then repeat the process on the other side. This one might not work as well because of how far this cap has to go. And follow the same process.
Dad,
So just remember to smack it all around and try to keep it as flat as possible all around the ring. If you do go past it, try to match it up like we did all around. Over here on the right side, this is actually almost perfect. I think there's a little lip here. What do you think, Tim? Right here.
Yeah,
Right there, huh? Yeah.
better.
Yeah, try to make it as flat as possible. That way you guys don't have any leaks when the actual car starts to warm up and start pouring oil into it. So just be careful. Alright, so the next thing is actually installing the cam gear. This only goes in one way. It has a key guide on it. We upgraded to an ARP cam gear bolt. This bolt goes down to 55 foot-pounds, and that's it. No more. No stretching, no nothing. It's just one set it and forget it, pretty much. So get this torque down to 55 foot-pounds, and you're done. And then after that, we're actually going to do the valve cover, tube seals, valve cover gasket, and the cam sensor as well. And then we're done with the head. Head is pretty much ready to go and put on the car. The next thing is the block, and we're going to film that next later. So to torque your cam bolt down, you're going to use a blunt end like of the hammer. Get it in there. You'll see right here this little notch. Make sure you can put that there to put some tension on there. Get your torque wrench, set it to 55 foot-pounds, and whammo, torque to spec. And that's how you do it without having special tools and a single person. If you have two people, one person holding that down, you hold the cam gear down, and kablooey, you're done. Alright?
You're mutant with 3 hands.
Unless you have a third hand, well, some of us do. Alright, some of us are gifted. That's it, guys. Now we're going to be doing the valve cover and all that, so we'll walk you through that in just a minute. Okay, so now we're going to do the valve cover gasket and the tube seals. Should come with your head gasket kit. Hey, Hank. Pretty much just drop those bad boys in. Valve cover gasket, super easy. We do suggest to use some RTV on some of the corners.
Right
Yeah, on every corner here.
This corner,
Yeah.
right there.
On corners. RTV is very vital for this, just because it'll prevent leaking on the valve cover. But that's it. Put the valve cover on, torque it to spec. Valve cover gasket, torque specs. What is it, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, I think? It's almost nothing. 10 Newton meters, so it's like, what, almost 5 pounds in, huh?
7 pounds.
7 pounds? Yeah. So, and same process for the valve cover torquing, because you can't just torque it all down. It's in, out, and then back in at 10 Newton meters or 7 foot-pounds. And that'll be it for pretty much assembling your head. Thanks everybody for watching PincheAls Garage with starring, hold on, I gotta do this right. Ray, and then
Special guest.
Timothy, and then me. Alright guys, thanks again for watching. See you guys on the next time with when we're actually building the block. So after you get the valve cover and everything on here, the next step is your valve, your cam cap covers. And then your valve cover, torque it to spec, 7 foot-pounds, 10 Newton meters, whichever one comes first. If you guys are going to do the integrated engineering manifold, these studs have to come out, just so you guys know. These manifold studs need to come out, because the manifold is too big. But besides that, using a factory manifold will be okay.